Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today, we're really questioning something many of us take for granted: the idea that gyms are always safe places for self-improvement.
Yeah, it's almost a default assumption, isn't it?
It is. But a recent observation from the Allahabad High Court, specifically on August 27, 2025, is kind of forcing us to look closer. It's highlighting some, well, troubling realities about safety and dignity, especially for women.
Absolutely. It's shining a light on the interactions between female clients and male instructors.
Exactly, that close proximity and training, and whether the right safeguards are actually in place. So this isn't just about one incident. It feels like a real moment to reevaluate things.
Hmm.
We're going to unpack the specific case that triggered this, look at the wider ripples for gym culture, and figure out what this means for the future of these fitness spaces, and really what it means for every woman who walks into a gym.
And it's fascinating, isn't it, how one case can suddenly illuminate these broader systemic issues. Justice Shikhar Kumar Yadav's comments weren't just about the alleged events.
Right.
They were a critical look at why something like this could potentially happen. It challenges the whole operational standard, the whole culture, really.
Yeah, it feels much bigger. So our mission today is to really get a handle on how serious these concerns are, look at the real world situation that, unfortunately sparked this alarm, and then explore what actual steps can be taken.
Tangible steps.
Yeah, tangible, actionable steps to make gyms genuinely safe, respectful, and, well, empowering for everyone.
Okay.
So to really grasp this, we need to start with the specifics, the case itself.
Let's dive in.
Okay, so it all centers around a criminal appeal involving Nitin Saini. He's a gym trainer from Meerut, which is a city in Uttar Pradesh.
Oh.
And the allegations against him are, frankly, pretty disturbing. They paint a really grim picture.
So what allegedly happened?
The incident itself reportedly took place on April 29, 2024. This was at a gym in Madhavpuram in Meerut. A female client alleged that Saini used just awful caste-based slurs against her.
Wow.
Yeah, specifically calling her Chamari Chamati. And for anyone listening who isn't familiar, that's a deeply offensive term targeting women from the Chamar caste, a scheduled caste in India.
So it's immediately hitting on gender and caste discrimination.
That's exactly. It shows that intersection right away. But it didn't stop there. She also alleged he physically assaulted her, pushed her chest, and then forced her out of the gym.
Goodness. That really speaks to the power dynamics you can see in that kind of relationship, doesn't it? Trainer and client, especially male trainer, female client.
Absolutely. And her statement, it was recorded under Section 164 of the Code of Criminal Procedure.
That's significant, right?
Very significant.
Yeah.
That means it wasn't just the police taking the statement. It was given directly before a magistrate. That gives it considerable legal weight. It's treated as strong evidence.
And there was more.
There was. The complainant also alleged that Saini had created and distributed obscene videos of her friend. Okay, so that just escalates things dramatically. It goes beyond personal harassment into potential exploitation, massive privacy violation.
Absolutely. It broadens the whole scope.
So the case was registered under the Indian Penal Code that covers general criminal offenses, but also, importantly, under the Scheduled Castes and Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act of 1989.
Right, and that act exists specifically to protect marginalized communities from these kinds of abuses. Its inclusion really underlines the discriminatory nature of what was alleged.
Okay, so that's the case itself. But the court, Justice Yadav, took it further.
Yes, this is where it gets really interesting, systemically speaking.
He didn't just focus on Saini. He expressed this broader, serious concern. He actually said, and this is a direct quote, that male gym trainers are imparting training to female clients without adequate safeguards to ensure their safety and dignity.
Wow. That's not just about one alleged incident anymore. That's a statement about the industry.
Exactly. It's a profound observation on industry practices, or maybe the lack of them.
It really is. It feels like a direct call for accountability, a push for a fundamental rethink of how gyms operate, particularly when it comes to protecting female clients. It signals the judiciary is watching these spaces closely.
And it wasn't just a general comment. The court got specific. It issued direct orders to the investigating officer in Meerut.
Okay, what do they ask?
They asked the officer for a personal affidavit to clarify 3 key points, and these really get to the heart of how gyms are run. First, was Saini's gym even legally registered?
Basic compliance.
Second, had Saini actually been arrested in connection with the case?
Yeah.
Follow through.
Right.
And third, and this feels crucial, did the gym employ any female trainers?
Ah, okay. So probing the structure, the staffing, the very legitimacy and safety measures of the place, not just the incident.
Precisely. And the next hearing is set for September 8th, 2025. So pretty soon, everyone's watching to see what these answers reveal.
Yeah, those answers could shed a lot of light, not just on this one gym, but potentially on the wider situation with gym standards and safety in the region. It's definitely something to keep an eye on.
So this really brings us to that wider context, doesn't it? We think of gyms as these positive spaces, these havens, but this court observation just punches a hole in that idea, particularly for women's safety. What can you tell us about the fitness industry in India? Is it regulated? Does that play a role here?
Well, that's a huge part of the picture, I think. A really critical observation is just how, well, largely unregulated the fitness industry in India actually is.
Right.
You compare it to other professions, doctors, lawyers, engineers, where you have strict licenses, mandatory certifications, ethical codes. The fitness industry often doesn't have that formal structure.
So people can just become trainers.
In many cases, yes. Gyms pop up, trainers start working, sometimes with minimal, maybe even just informal qualifications. There isn't always a strong governing body setting universal standards or enforcing an ethical code.
And that creates a gap, a trust gap almost.
Exactly. It fundamentally compromises the trust that clients, especially women, place in these individuals and institutions, particularly, as you said earlier, in those one-on-one sessions.
Yeah, that close proximity, spotting weights, correcting form, sometimes being alone in a fairly private space.
And look, the vast majority of trainers are professional, absolutely. But without clear, mandatory guidelines on conduct, on boundaries.
It creates vulnerabilities.
Huge vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
It can lead to discomfort, feeling unsafe, or, the worst cases, alleged misconduct like we saw in Meerut.
So it begs the question, who's responsible for setting and enforcing safety rules in that kind of environment?
That's the core issue, isn't it? When oversight is minimal, when trainers maybe haven't had formal training on professional conduct, ethical boundaries, gender sensitivity, the potential for exploitation, or even just making clients feel deeply uncomfortable, it just goes way up.
And the court asking about female trainers, that seems like a direct nod to this.
I think so. It strongly hints that having gender diversity on staff is recognized as important. It gives women safer, potentially more comfortable options if they prefer a female trainer.
Which makes sense. For so many women, the gym isn't just about lifting weights. It's about building confidence, reclaiming a sense of autonomy over their bodies, prioritizing well-being. It's empowering.
Absolute vital spaces.
And then an incident like the one alleged in Meerut happens, and it can shatter that whole sense of security. It can make women hesitant to even join a gym or maybe quit altogether because the place they went to feel strong suddenly feels unsafe.
And if you zoom out, think about the context in India specifically. Women already face so many barriers, so many safety concerns, just participating in public life.
Yeah.
So this issue in gyms, these supposedly safe spaces, becomes even more critical. The lack of really clear policies on how trainers and clients should interact.
Or mandatory background checks for staff.
Right. Or even basic things like ensuring truly separate, secure changing facilities, or thinking about surveillance cameras where they are, where they aren't for privacy. All these gaps heighten the risks.
And maybe the scariest part for someone experiencing this, what if there's nowhere to turn? No clear way to report it within the gym.
Exactly. The absence of accessible, transparent grievance mechanisms, it leaves women feeling totally isolated with no recourse. That silence, that feeling of being powerless, can be incredibly damaging in itself.
So this Allahabad High Court observation, it really feels like a massive wake-up call, shaking things up. But okay, pointing out the problem is one thing. What can actually be done? What are the concrete steps?
Right, that's the crucial next step. How do we move from reacting to incidents to actually building safer, more dignified environments from the ground up? It needs a multi-pronged approach, really.
Okay, like what?
Well, first off, regulation of the fitness industry. That means proper licensing for gyms themselves. Are they meeting basic safety standards, regular inspections? And mandatory certification for trainers, establishing a baseline of professionalism.
Right, setting a standard.
Second, gender-sensitive training. This needs to be mandatory for all trainers, not just how to teach squats, but professional conduct, deep gender sensitivity, understanding boundaries, anti-discrimination policies. Education is key.
Makes sense. What else?
Third, hiring more female trainers. Gyms need to be actively encouraged, maybe even incentivized, to hire more women. This simply provides more choice and comfort for female clients.
Yeah, provides options.
Fourth, Clear safety protocols, things like maybe offering the option of having a third party present during one-on-one sessions if a client wants it, strategic CCTV in common areas balancing safety with privacy, and crucially, truly separate and secure changing rooms.
Okay, practical measures.
Fifth, grievance redressal mechanisms. Every single gym needs a clear, accessible way for clients to report issues. Maybe anonymous options too, so people feel safe coming forward without fear of backlash.
Transparency and accessibility. Got it.
Sixth, public awareness campaigns. We need to empower gym goers themselves, educate them about their rights, what professional conduct looks like, where they can get help. This also helps normalize fitness for women while tackling the safety concerns head-on.
Empowering the clients.
And finally, number 7, legal accountability. When harassment or abuse does happen, we need swift, decisive action from law enforcement and the courts. That sends a very clear message. This behavior isn't tolerated.
Wow, that's a comprehensive blueprint. Implementing all of that across, what, thousands of gyms, big chains, small neighborhood spots, that's a huge undertaking.
It is. It presents real practical challenges, no doubt.
And it feels like it's about more than just rules on paper, right? It has to be a cultural shift, too.
Absolutely. You said it earlier, gyms are like mini societies. They reflect the power dynamics, the inequalities that exist outside their walls. Real safety, real dignity, that requires a fundamental change in attitude, in mindset, not just ticking boxes on a checklist.
So this deep dive, it really feels like the Allahabad High Court's observations are pushing for more than just policy tweaks. It's a call for a cultural transformation, really, making respect and safety just part of the basic fabric of fitness.
Exactly. Not just something you legislate, but something that's built in.
Yeah.
And it highlights how the judiciary can actually play this vital role in pushing for broader societal change, bringing issues to light that might otherwise stay hidden.
Yeah.
And the core insight here, I think, is the court recognizing that safety and dignity aren't just nice-to-haves in a gym. They're not optional extras. They are the absolute foundation. Without them, you can't have a truly empowering fitness culture.
Non-negotiable.
Completely.
Mm-hmm.
And as more and more women embrace fitness, which is fantastic, the industry has to evolve. It must create spaces where women feel respected, valued, and completely secure, free from that fear of harassment or discrimination.
So for you listening, the message that seems to be coming through loud and clear is your safety, your dignity in any space, but especially one focused on your well-being, it's absolutely non-negotiable. And this whole conversation with that upcoming court hearing on September 8th as a key moment to watch, it feels like a call to action for everyone involved, gym owners, trainers, policymakers, and honestly, for all of us in society.
It takes everyone.
It does. So as you think about your own fitness journey or maybe the places you go for well-being, perhaps ask yourself, what can we all do collectively to make sure these spaces really prioritize safety, inclusion, and just basic respect for everyone?
Your expectations matter.
They really do. Your voice, your choices, they have real power to shape what the fitness culture looks like tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining us on this, I think, really vital deep dive. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and let's keep pushing for spaces where everyone can genuinely thrive.